Alright, just 1 second, guys. Okay, there we go. So, welcome everyone to another MLB The Show 21 stream here on Twitch. I'm next JGGen24, and we're back at it trying to finish off the Superfractor series for the Mets team build. So far we've made some pretty good progress. Ronnie Mauricio, I think, is our closest. Yeah, he's our closest, unless it's Matt Harvey. No, it's Mauricio, although Harvey might be after I play a few games. It just depends on how Mauricio does, but Harvey I know is gonna do well. So again, just to give a review to everyone, the idea behind this series is that we're trying to build a lineup of Mets players, specifically Mets players, not former on another team like 99 Willie Mays. No, he's not on here. This is purely Mets. If you have the Mets symbol on your card, you're in this team build. If not, I don't care if you used to play for the Mets. You're not going to be on this team. So that's just a review. Again, we've got pretty much a purple lineup here. We have Conforto, we have Floyd, Batty, Baez, Hernandez, and Carter all at tier 3. Nimmo's still at tier 2, and then Mauricio just leads the way. As you can see, I already have a couple superfractors already. Pete Alonso, Mike Piazza, and Dom Smith. They will all go into the lineup as soon as we're done superfractoring the players at their positions. So Carter, Hernandez, and Floyd all have to be superfractored before Smith, Piazza, and Alonso are in. Excuse me. So, and we're not pitching with anyone else until we get Harvey done. So by the end of this, I'm expecting Harvey to be a 99. And then after that, who's the next closest? We got Tom Seaver at 323. Glavin doesn't have any, and neither does Syndergaard. Okay, so next up would be Tom Seaver, the franchise. And we're still going to try and work on Jerry's Familia, but playing these games on rookie is not exactly like... they don't easily end up in positions that I would have to go to the bullpen to get Familia in. So overall, I'm just mostly concerned with the starting pitchers, this lineup, and the bench. Once these guys are all superfractored, then that's it. That's the series. We might play one game on ranked seasons just to see what happens. So how about I stop talking, and how about we actually get into this? So let's see if we can find an opponent. AA pitching is not bad. We'll give it a shot. Why not? Why not indeed? Let's see, where are we going? I kind of feel like we should go to Colorado. So let's do it. All right. So if you guys haven't been following my streams this past week, I did have some news. They gave me an update in terms of my work situation, and I'm gonna end up going back to the afternoons, working basically from 2 to 10, which means that I will not be able to stream at this time. In fact, I don't think I'll be able to stream, period. Which is why I'm trying to do this Superfractor team build, because this is ultimately my last chance to show you guys what my team is gonna, or it's my last chance to be able to show this to you on stream, because I might do it off stream, and once I'm done with it, I'll post it to social media. I'll put it to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Because ultimately, I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to see what this superfractored team build for the Mets is going to look like. So, I don't know how we're going to do that in a week and a half, but I sure as hell am going to give it a try. But starting the week of the 21st, that's when you can no longer expect me to stream. I looked at it and I realized that with me going to the gym and with my schedule changing, that I wasn't going to be able to stream as often as I would have liked. You guys know I try to stream 5 days a week. I always try to stream 3 hours, and with me going to the gym, that takes out some of the days, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because I need a couple hours to be able to do that routine, and by the time I get home, it could be only a couple hours before I end up having to log on for work and everything. So, and I'm not streaming overnight because I do live with my family, so I'd rather not disturb them. I'd rather let them sleep and, and not bother them. So late night streams are not happening on my part. Neither are early morning streams, because I do like to sleep in. So ultimately, guys, this is just the end of the stream, or this is the end of my streaming. I figured that this was coming. I knew that eventually I was going to have to probably give this up. But you know what? I just wanted to see how long it could possibly go. And the fact that I was able to do this for almost a year and a half is pretty incredible, because I tell you what, guys, if I didn't get the support from you guys like I've gotten, I probably would have quit sometime after a couple months. I probably would have given up on this. But you guys supported me. You gave me the follows. You gave me the subs, the bits. You guys gave it to me. Gave it to me all. Even though that I made clear to you guys that I didn't know if I was going to be streaming long term or eventually I was going to have to give it up. But you guys kept supporting me, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. I am so glad that I was able to show you my progress throughout MLB The Show 21. Obviously there were some failures here and there. Like I never got Trey Turner, the finest Trey Turner. I wish I did, because from what I'm hearing from everyone, that card is really solid. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to end up getting him. Not the biggest deal breaker in the world to me, because I was still able to do my superfractored team, my P5 lineup with another version of his card, which is still pretty good in my opinion. And I think it's still pretty good because it's superfractored. So, that was great to be able to see that. I was able to get some of my personal favorite cards superfractored. You saw some of them, Jacob deGrom, Mike Piazza, Pete Alonso, Dom Smith. That was an underrated card. That Dom Smith card is very underrated. So, You know, just being able to get those guys up there is amazing. So I'm glad with the progress that I made this year. Obviously, there's still a little bit to go. MLB The Show 22 is not coming out until April 6th. I have not pre-ordered my edition yet, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hard copy of the disc rather than rather than buy it through the digital store. I mean, look, I've had way too many problems this year with this game. Like, at times my stream would freeze. Hopefully it doesn't happen tonight, but, you know, knock on wood. Oh, I'm sorry, April 5th. Thank you for the correction, Bray. I appreciate that. Yeah, April 5th, not April 6th. My bad. So, April 5th. Either way, you know, you can still get, if you pre-order the MVP edition, you can get that 3 days early. So you're talking about getting it on the 2nd, which I don't think is too bad. I think that's pretty good. But first we need to have some baseball. Because I tell you what, MLB The Show 20 really lacked the content. Like, this year is great because there was a lot of content. But how are you going to repeat this next year if there's no baseball? And at this point, guys, I'm calling it right now. I don't think we're getting this season started on time. Unless they come right back and say, okay, we'll sign whatever agreement. Let's just get this season going. Because I can tell you, we're not going to have spring training. And I don't believe for a minute that we are going to start this season on time. I mean, I retweeted the Mets because they were trying to sell summer tickets for games over the summer. And, you know, I retweeted it with the quote, so is this safe for us to assume that basically we're not going to have games in April or May? So you're talking about 2 months right there of baseball that we're missing out on because of this lockout. And that's what sucks. It could have been preventable. I mean, this deal could have gotten done during the season, but there was a stalemate. And I'm siding with the players on this one. I think what they're asking for, the minimum wage to be higher for players just starting out, I don't see that as a problem. And they want owners to stop tanking so they could get prospects. I mean, the teams that are not great, the teams that are terrible, and I'm referring to teams like the Orioles or the Pirates or everything, I don't think they're tanking on purpose. But, you know, those teams towards the end of the summer that would rather just sell off and then just try to get losses and everything when they could have had a shot. I mean, you're like a team like the Nationals. You know, Schwarber, if you had kept him, I think the Nationals still would have been in contention for the playoffs. Because Juan Soto at that point was really coming into his own. Hence why he was considered an MVP candidate. You don't get someone, you don't have a player like Juan Soto who's considered an MVP candidate and just lose. So those specific teams, that's where I agree with the players. Those teams should not be tanking. I don't think there's much you can do for the Orioles or for the Pirates because they just seem like they're kind of stuck at this point. But teams like the Nationals or anyone else that is considered contenders and then sells off because they'd rather have prospects than go for a championship, yeah, I absolutely agree with the Players Union on that one. So, you know, I don't think it's unreasonable what the Players Association is proposing here. I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't see why. I can't understand why the owners don't see it that way. I get you want to make money, but you know, players want to make money too. And you can't just be, and unfortunately, you're not going to build a team full of Mike Trouts or Ronald Acuna Jr.'s or Freddie Freeman's or have a rotation that's all Jacob deGroms. You're not going to have that happen. You're just not. Strike 3, sit down. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't at least give an effort. So, you know, we'll see what happens with the negotiations. Good on the Players Association for standing their ground and not bringing in federal mediation, because that's a bunch of horseshit. So, I agree. I'm completely siding with the Players Association on this one. They made their offer. It wasn't totally unreasonable. There were some decent requests there, and they could have easily been fulfilled. And you know, we'd be talking about catchers and pitchers reporting for spring training in about a week or two.
Leading off for the Lions, the pitcher, Matt Harvey.
But no, instead we're sitting here and we're talking about not having a spring training and possibly not starting this season on time. And who knows how long that would last. The MLB went 4 months really before they finally resumed action in 2020. And yeah, you could say, well, that's COVID, that's different, but I still think that owners can look to that and say, you know what, we could go this long without a deal. Or we could go this long without playing baseball, and we'll do it again. That's the unfortunate part. Very unfortunate. Of course, I just want to see Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer pitch. I want to see what kind of magic those two are gonna freaking deliver. Because I tell you what, I like what this duo brings. Scherzer brings the experience, but he's not a heat hurler like Jacob deGrom is. He's more reliant on his off-speed stuff, which is good because pitchers have made a career on that. You know, Clayton Kershaw, it's worked out perfectly for him, and he's like one of the best left-handed pitchers we have in the game.
The catcher, Gary Sanchez.
So I really do want to see what deGrom and Scherzer do at some point. I don't know what Cohen is, what Cohen's thinking in terms of these negotiations. I hope that he does see that what the Players Association proposed is reasonable. But considering how some of the owners didn't really want him in the MLB to begin with, I doubt that his word is going to carry much influence.
The batter, number 13, second baseman.
Still, if he can somehow sway for the owners to get back to the negotiation table and maybe there can be some kind of an agreement, then I say go for it. That goes for any of the owners, really, that want to see this season. If you have an opportunity to go ahead and influence and say, let's go back to the negotiating table and let's see what we can come up with. I mean, I'm all for it, as long as we get some baseball. We'll see how the negotiations play out, but I can tell you that I am not confident at all that we're getting spring training, and I'm not confident that we're getting this season started on time. So, in terms of what I'm expecting for MLB The Show 22, I mean, obviously they're going to have to work around the fact that we're going to have no MLB season, at least starting on time, I believe. So they're going to have to get creative. I think what they did in 2020 was fine, but you need some kind of content.
The third baseman.
Not just inning bosses. So, and I'm hopeful that San Diego Studios keeps the Prestige program, or Prestige, but the Parallel XP, the Parallel XP to upgrade players. I hope they keep that. I think it's something that they will keep in. Because obviously I think that was widely popular, and they really adjusted it to fit more towards casual players. So I certainly hope they keep it. I don't know who we're going to see as new legends. You know, everyone wants to see Derek Jeter, it seems like. So maybe Derek Jeter is a new legend. We just need new legends. And no, not Kirby Puckett. I mean, that was a serious letdown. I was not hyped for Puckett when he was revealed. And I can tell you, I'm glad I wasn't hyped. Because if all we got was that 192 overall version from the Twins collection, or whatever overall it was, if that's all we got, I can tell you what, that's a waste of a legend right there. That was... Why couldn't we get a 99 version? This guy's a legend, no? I think Omar Vizquel either close to a 99 or he is a 99. I'm not 100% sure, but if he's getting a 99, why can't Puckett? So, if they're gonna do new legends, make sure it's legends that are gonna get better cards as the game goes along. Like Piazza, his first inning boss was a 91 overall, but he eventually got that 99. Griffey, same thing. He had a gold? I think he had a gold, and then he had a 99 diamond. So, to me, if you're going to put a legend in the game, make sure that the intent is that they're eventually going to get a 99 overall.
Now batting, the pitcher, Matt Harvey.
So, I'm not really expecting anything new in terms of franchise or Road to the Show. I think Road to the Show is pretty much going to stay the same. Oh, he's gone? Ah, freaking batty. Come on. Screwed that up. Made the wrong pitch selection.
The left fielder, Shohei Ohtani. 0-1.
You know, which is rather disappointing because if anything, those are the two modes in MLB The Show that need the most upgrading. And I'm not talking just like you change some menus or whatever like they did this year. That's not an upgrade. You just made the whole damn thing even more confusing. So, you know, like some kind of upgrades. Maybe explain, maybe have an owner type of mode thing. Or, you know, some kind of a progression system that actually makes sense. Because for the love of God, I cannot figure out this progression system. It's like, oh, you know, the guy has a good month of June, so he gets a boosted overall +5. Or not +5, but +2. Okay, great. But what if he has a terrible month of July? You're just going to take that away? You know, progression system, the scouting needs to be better. I'm sorry, but it takes way too freaking long. I mean, I basically have to pay attention to my notifications to know whether my scouts are done or not. And if I don't, then they're going to end up on the assignment and they may be done already. So for the love of God, do something different. You know, the one thing I like about Madden is at least they can tell you where their 3 best attributes and then where they're projected talent-wise to be drafted. So I like what Madden does. Why can't MLB The Show adopt a similar scouting system? Because ultimately, that's what I want to do. I'm not going to go... as much as I want to be like Steve Cohen, I'm not going to go out there and try to sign the big-name free agents. I'm gonna try and scout prospects, draft them, and then hopefully they end up progressing enough to the point where I can put them on my roster.
The catcher, Gary Sanchez.
So I just overall, that's where I think franchise can improve. In terms of the road to the show, I mean, I like that you could get drafted. But can we have a bit of a story to it? You know, like, oh, high school prospect impresses scouts, and now we've got this. Because that's what I find boring. You're just going through, and you're progressing, and you're not. There's really no vested interest in this. Like, the choices you make ultimately determine what your personality is. I want to see some kind of a story with Road to the Show. Make it interesting. Make it entertaining. Got him! Alright, I'm going to get Jerry's Familia up and warming. Where's Jerry's? So I'd like to see some changes. The Road to the Show to franchise. Diamond Dynasty, they can keep going with what they had because ultimately that mode is more about the content. Oh, Floyd! Just smacking that one out of here. Woo, boy! Woo, boy! What's up, Legendarian? How you doing? You just took the words right out of Conforto's mouth. Smell you later. Baseball, you're out of here. But how you doing, Legendarian? Exactly. You came in, you predicted it, and you were right. You should play the lottery. Anyway, hey Darian, what are some things that you want to see in MLB The Show 22? Like, where do you think the game can improve? And because I was just going over it, I don't think Diamond Dynasty needs to be touched, but Road to the Show and franchise definitely do. Road to the Show needs to have more of a story base to it, and then franchise, it just needs to be more casually catered to fans. But that's just me personally. What do you think? How about that? Brett Batty. He says he wants to get in on this home run parade.
The pitcher, Matt Harvey.
Not a good day for Mauricio, unfortunately, but that's what happens. It's okay, we'll just bounce back in the next game. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. You know, just Road to the Show, like, scouting could be more casual, because I think it's rather confusing as to what people need to do. The progression system is a little complicated. We need to make that a bit more clear as to what it is that players have to do to actually progress their players. Strike 3, sit down. I would agree with that, but me starting to stream more, the content is within Diamond Dynasty, so that's hammer. I just want it to be fixed with all the perfect outs and mishit home runs. And okay, so you're talking more Diamond Dynasty gameplay wise. You want to see the perfects get rewarded, and some of the other glitches in the game get taken out. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I mean, I wish that, you know, fastballs wouldn't be so. I get that they're supposed to be hard to hit, but my God, it was, if you went up against Jacob deGrom or Shohei Ohtani online and they were superfractored and had 102 fastball, you were not hitting that shit. So I'd like to see that improved upon. And yeah, I do agree with you that perfects are not being rewarded properly. Strike 3, sit down. Matt Harvey walking away with the win. Fortunately gave up a home run, but it is what it is. Let's see, did anyone move up? No, nobody did. You're a huge friend. Well, I think they need to make it less complicated. Like the way that it sits right now, to me, is, unless you're a baseball guru, you're probably not going to understand it. Because it's like, how are you progressing these players? Like, how are you going to make sure that these players end up being, you know, 99 overalls? 24.99, 24, 25, 24, 25, 500. All right, Troy Glaus it is. 25, 499. It doesn't matter because I had all three bosses anyway, so it really didn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Progression system is too complicated. Like, dumb it down a little bit more. Like, you say, okay, this player gets a good month, had a decent month of June. Okay, so maybe a +1. Or this player had hit 12 home runs in a single month. Okay, so they're going to get a good boost to power. And it can be permanent. But if they have a bad month, then regression starts to set in. Gonna go make some dinner. Alright. No problem, man. I appreciate you stopping by. Oh no, we definitely don't want that. Okay, so we're gonna have to back out here. Try another. Perfect. I'll take this. Whoops. Hold on. Nope. Back out. Back out. No, I just lost it. No. No, because I was a freaking idiot. Alright, I'll take it. Actually, no. I'd rather take this. Besides, this guy's got a Ohio State logo, and I don't like Ohio State, so I'll be more than happy to beat up on this guy's team. So, I mean, progression needs to be simplified. Scouting needs to be simplified because I don't think a lot of people understand how scouting is supposed to work. And also, there needs to be more of an emphasis on, like, maybe for franchise, you come in and you say, okay, well, choose 3 prospects within your franchise that you want to focus on throughout the season. You know, you want to get a specific update in terms of how they're progressing. So that if they have key moments like a hitting streak or they're going for a record number of home runs, you can pop in and play as them and then try to you know, help them progress even further. You know, kind of like key moments, but specifically for those players. So I think that would be a good way, because ultimately people, I think, don't really understand that when you do franchise mode, you're doing more than just running your the major league club. Okay, you've got minor league clubs that you need to worry about, and you need to be able to sign players and have them progress and everything. So you got to keep an eye on them, which goes back to my point about progression and regression. It's got to be simplified. And there needs to be more of an emphasis in terms of you know, minor league clubs in addition to the major league club. Like maybe your team is in a close race, and a couple games here and there down the stretch could really help them lock up a postseason spot. Ultimately, if your team is playing in the postseason, isn't that good? Even if your major league club isn't doing anything, like if they're not going to be in the hunt for October, you know, then you can focus on your minor league teams. I talk about franchise mode because, like, I did it with the Mets back in MLB The Show 18, and mostly I was influenced by Jersey Born. He was, you know, I saw his videos on rebuilding the Giants franchise, and I was very influenced by what he was doing. So when I tried out his methods, you know, I did 4 seasons with the Mets in franchise mode, and that is by far the most I've ever spent on any team in any sports title franchise. So, I talk about franchise mode a lot because I think it's a very underrated mode. But it's very underrated because it's overcomplicated. And we can't have overcomplication. We need to appeal to the fans, to the casual fans. Now, sure, you can have a lot of this stuff done for you, but are you seriously going to trust Are you seriously going to trust San Diego Studios AI to be able to make those decisions for you? The contracts, the scouting, the are you really going to be able to trust them to do that? And personally, I say no. I wouldn't. I'd rather have control of my franchise. I'm not looking just to play casually. I want to have control. I want to be able to set which player gets called up, which player goes down, who gets re-signed, who gets released. Who should the scouts focus on? What region? Are there any can't-miss prospects that didn't come up with the blue-chip ones? So that's all I'm saying. In terms of Road to the Show, and I think I've already explained this already, we need stories. Okay, what I found the most intriguing with the sports titles is that they were very story-based. Like FIFA, for example, I am not a FIFA player by any means. Alright? I only know about the I know the basics like MLS, the Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga. I know of that stuff, and I can tell you that Messi is a top player, Ronaldo is a top player, Neymar is a top player. Like, I can tell you all that, but by no means am I considered a soccer expert, or football internationally is what people call it. But what initially got me hooked onto FIFA was back in, it was either FIFA 16 or 17, when they introduced Alex Hunter's story. And that was actually a really good story. And you know what? What made it so unique is that it spanned multiple titles. It didn't just stop in FIFA 17 or 16. It went all the way up to the next couple titles before it ended. And you know what? That was a damn good story. I mean, here's a young Englishman by the name of Alex Hunter looking to make it in the Premier League. And he starts for the club, but ends up getting put out on loan for one of the lower leagues, has to shine there, and then comes back and wins a Premier League championship against his former friend, now turned rival. I forget what his name is. But it doesn't end there. Then Alex Hunter goes international because there's talks about him joining was it Real Madrid or was it FC Barcelona maybe? Either way, there's talks about him joining there, but it turns out that doesn't work, or that's not working out. His father that left him helps him out by saying, why don't you come here and play in America? Why don't you play in the MLS? With the LA Galaxy. Oh, and by the way, you have a sister who happens to also play soccer, and not only does she play soccer, but she plays soccer for the U.S. women's national team. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh, and by the way, we also have Hunter's former rival, who's very egotistical, but turns out to be, like, ends up becoming a true friend. You know, he struggles. He gets an opportunity at the Premier League. He struggles, but he turns it around. If you choose to go that path, you may have chosen to let his career die. Totally up to you. But that player, you give him a shot, and he ends up winning the Premier League title. But you guys get what my point is with this. The point is, it was an interesting story that I loved, that made me want to go buy FIFA time and time, year after year after year, until the story was over. Now, I can tell you, I am not in any hurry whatsoever to play that FIFA game again. You know, I think it was great, but ultimately, it's a story that you only play once. And what about Madden? You know, you guys may not remember this, but or you may not. Maybe you remember the long shot story with Devin Wade and how that's been. I mean, the story could have been a little bit better. Personally, you know, guy trying to make one last attempt at the NFL. After college, you know, he was a can't miss prospect for Texas, and then all of a sudden his father dies and he decides to give up on football, but gets another chance to be able to make it into the NFL, and that spanned a couple titles, not too many. I mean, the second title, that kind of made no sense. I mean, I liked the story of it, which was now Wade's friend, I forget his name. He wants a shot at the NFL, gets it for like one game, and then his stint is over, and now he's got to go back to Texas to the high school where he and Wade attended, and he's got to lead them to victory to keep the high school or to keep the football field from being demolished. Which again, it really makes no sense here. Like, we went to focusing on Devin Wade, and you kind of get Devin Wade here and there in that second part, but I mean, I'll be honest, it didn't feel like Devin Wade was even much of a thought in that game. It felt like it was more on his friend, that second title, and I wish it had been more on Devin Wade. Although I like what that story was, but ultimately we just took away from Devin Wade in exchange for his friend, just to be a high school coach. Whoopee. So, but ultimately what my point is that those stories made it interesting to play this game. You know? And Road to the Show doesn't have that. It just has, okay, Peach, with the 5 bits, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much, man. How you doing tonight?
The pitcher, Matt.
Doing good? I'm doing all right, man. I was just talking about some of the great story modes that were in some of the other sports titles. Like I was talking about Devin Wade being in Madden and his story, the long shot story, and then you had Alex Hunter in the FIFA story, and I was just saying, like, stories like that should be in Road to the Show for MLB The Show, you know? And I think that would garner a lot more interest in Road to the Show. I think people are still going to play Road to the Show regardless, but if you really want to make it interesting, why not add a little bit of a story to it? So, what do you think? Do you think that would make Road to the Show better, or how do you think they should improve that mode? Because it feels like it needs some improvements. There needs to be some improvement for Road to the Show. It just feels like they haven't even touched it in a century. I mean, let's be honest. The bread and butter of MLB The Show is always going to be Diamond Dynasty. That's what people are going to buy this game for. They want to play Diamond Dynasty. So I don't think there's any doubt on that. It's just, you know, can we make the other modes more interesting? Because I do ultimately want to get more in depth with MLB The Show. I want to play it more than just Diamond Dynasty, do a map, a conquest map here and there, you know, play a 9-inning game against the CPU, whether that's extra innings or it's play versus CPU. You know, I want to do more than just play Diamond Dynasty. Because ultimately, I get bored of Diamond Dynasty. Eventually, the content is going to suffer a bit. Uh-oh. This may be trouble. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to... There was no way I was going to rob that. The wall's too high. But I guess the effort is what matters, right? So, those are just overall my overall thoughts on how this game can improve. You know, I don't think Diamond Dynasty needs to be touched at all. I think just leave it as it is, and you'll still get you'll still get the demographic. But touch up on the other modes, because people do want to play the other modes, but make them more interesting. Give me a reason to play. Oh, yeah, there's also March to October. Okay, here's the thing. MLB The Show needs to explain to casual players, to new players, that mode is basically how they're going to play franchise mode. You hone in on key moments, and you try to win games with your team, but you don't play a whole 162 game season. You know, you just pop in every now and then. What's up, Siri? Cyril, excuse me. No, Siri. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just got it this weekend. Needed to get it. It's the freaking hair. Like, I don't know if you saw me, but there were times, like during stream, I was running my hand through my hair, and it was long as hell, and I needed to get it cut and everything. Yeah, you got an exam in an hour and 20 minutes. Holy sh! Dude, wait. Yeah, exactly. And I like that the buzz cut, it's like not complicated at all. It's literally just take a buzzer and go zzz, 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 zzz. You know? So that's why I like it. I like it because it's simple. Not complicated. Yeah, very liberating too. Which is why it was so awful during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic when you couldn't even go to get a haircut. I still have a picture of me in some NASCAR gear that I was sporting because they were returning to action, and at that point my hair was really, really long. I mean, I had a hat wearing it, but my hair was long. Shawn Mendes hair now, more like, yeah, exactly. And Peach, you're back. You're back and you're cheering some bits. I love it. 3 bits. Absolutely, Poggers, for Peach with the 3 bits on top of the 5 bits he already donated today. Wow, look at Peach go. Okay, so last minute advice, relax. Okay? One of the worst things that you can do is panic. Okay? Because you panic, you forget the information, and you're only going to panic even more. So, do not yeah, exactly. Just calm down. Don't overthink it. Just remember, I don't know what kind of an exam it is. I don't know if it's a written exam. Is it like a multiple choice, fill in the blank? Is it all the above? I'm a little bit tired, but I might take a cold shower and drink some coffee. All right. Computer science. Oh, computer science. Yeah, I had that in college. Definitely did not enjoy my exam. Peach with the 10 bits. So that is up to 20, I believe. Peach, you have cheered 20 bits for me so far in this stream. Thank you, Peach. I appreciate it. And it wasn't even like my computer science exam was hard. It's just that the professor didn't do a damn thing to explain it. He is by far one of the worst professors I have ever had. I'll tell you that right now. I helped you with your linear algebra exam in December. Oh, you're welcome, dude. Anytime. Look, math is math. So, exactly. Just take your time. Don't rush it. And double check yourself. You know, you might be confident with one answer, but...
Now batting, the first baseman.
Okay.
Hernandez.
All right, man. Oh, boy. You're doing a lot of things right now. You're just multitasking. And each with another 2 bits. I appreciate it, man. I don't think anyone's ever going to come close to what you're doing here, man. I don't think anyone's going to come close. I don't know how many bits you've donated at this point. If I had to do the math, maybe you're close to 50. So hey, 50 bits, I'll take it. Thank you, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. You don't have to. You know you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us for the tradition.
52? Okay. Yeah, I figured. I thought maybe I was close, but. All right, 52, nice.
The left fielder, Hunter.
Again, I don't think anyone's coming close. There we go, making it an even 60 now. Attaboy, Peach, thank you so much. All right, I'll be back. Hopefully you're... Exactly. Yeah, just relax. Don't overthink it. You know, let your mind relax. And I'm sure, and believe me, I think you're going to do well. I have the utmost confidence in you. If you can do well on your algebra exam, then I think you're going to do well on your computer science exam. Dirty on. Dirty on. Oh, I nearly robbed that. That would have been so awesome.
The catcher number 4, Molina.
Yeah, absolutely, guys, you know. But anyway, that professor, that computer science professor, was the absolute worst. He really was. None of us knew what the heck he was talking about, because he didn't teach the material. It's not like we could open up a textbook and be like, okay, read this, and then we do... Like, no, there was no textbook for our class. Everything had to be by practice. And the professor did not do a good job of explaining how we should be practicing for this. He just stopped by to say hi, but I'm good. Okay. All right, Peach, thanks for coming in. Thank you for the 60 bits. I appreciate it. You go eat. You go enjoy your dinner, okay? Hopefully it's delicious. But seriously, that professor was the absolute worst. And what's even worse about that professor is that the one kid in the class that actually knew what he was talking about was a kid that needed some assistance, like had a learning disability, so he needed assistance. But my God, he knew computer science and coding much better than anyone in that class that I took. Much, much better. And yet this professor, oh my God. I remember one class, okay? Nobody was raising their hands because when the professor asked a question, because again, we didn't know what he was talking about. He didn't explain it. But, you know, that one kid was raising his hand. He knew the answers. And it got so bad to a point where the professor's like, anyone else. I'm going to call on anyone. I am going to call on anyone else. Like, just flat out disrespected the student. Even a couple of classmates of mine, because I had a few classmates from the radio station in that. And I looked at him, and we had the same reaction. It was like, what the Like, here's the guy that pretty much knows this stuff, is raising his hand, and you're flat out disrespecting him by ignoring him? Are you kidding? Oh my God. Terrible professor. Like, one of the worst classes I ever had. And it's so sad too, because that was the art and science of gaming. Like, you would think out of all the classes that I had in college, that would be the one class that I would have enjoyed. No. No, it was by far one of the worst. But I do have to tell you guys this funny story. So, as part of like the requirements to graduate from college and everything, we had to take we had to take science classes as well. We had to basically get that under our belt and everything. And I'm not just talking about computer science, like chemistry, physics, biology, all that kind of stuff. We basically had to take one of those. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, in high school, I really enjoyed chemistry, so maybe I'll enjoy it again. Boy, was I wrong. Oh my God, I don't even know how I passed that class. Really. I have no freaking clue. But that's besides the point. What's funny is that in addition to taking that class, I had to take a lab as well. So I go So I go up there and I enter with all my other classmates or lab mates, whatever you want to call them. And the professor, he's like, okay, I want you guys to go around and introduce yourselves. So when he gets to me, I say, okay, hi, I'm Jeff. I'm a journalism major, blah, blah, blah. And then the professor's like, did you get lost? So for the entire year, the professor was joking around with me like, are you sure you're not lost? So, he used to pull my leg as the journalism student who got lost in the science building. Oh boy. Now that lab I actually did a lot better than I did in the chemistry class, which is odd because you would think that if I did horrible in the chemistry class, how could I do better in lab? So, yep, but it was quite a time. I think I remember what courses I took that year. I took computer science, chemistry with a lab. I took a religion class, which was basically an intro to religion, and I actually found that class fascinating. For someone who doesn't really consider themselves like religious or anything, like I was in 2009. I was baptized into my grandmother's church and everything, so. And they were Ukrainian Catholic, so I'm Ukrainian Catholic. Christos voskresis metvik smetius metpoprav insharo bakshita daruvav. So I do remember some Ukrainian from it, as I made it clear in the Let's Play Far Cry 5 series that I did with some of my titles kind of. Anyway, yeah, I know how to speak some Ukrainian, but most of them are in religious are very religious. So I don't want to offend anyone in case they're not of the same beliefs. I do want to respect everyone's religion, but just taking that religion class, like, it was so interesting to me because it wasn't about learning, it was more of like a philosophy kind of class. You were diving into the history and the philosophy of these religions and everything, their traditions, and I just really found it interesting. And the best part about it to me was the fact that it was a class-led kind of course, where the class actually led the discussion, not the professor. The professor just stood back and watched, and occasionally she would dip in every now and then to offer her thoughts on the discussion, and maybe like throw out a question here and there to get us kind of conversating again if it seemed like that our conversation was kind of reaching its end point. But I loved those classes that were led by the students, because you can teach kids and you can tell them what they should be putting down in their notes, what they should be studying and all that. But I think if you really want people to really learn in a classroom, I think a discussion is a great way to do it. It gets people talking about ideas. Those are the type of classes I always enjoy. personally. Now, some other people may prefer those, okay, well, here's what you need to know, here's this, here's why x plus y equals z or whatever. You know, I get that some people need that type of course, but, you know, to me, I feel like I really get more out of the class if it felt like that I was learning from other students, asking questions, you know, trying to get clarifications on certain points. So, you know, those were definitely the type of classes that I enjoyed. Obviously, I don't enjoy classes that have professors that don't teach you what the material is, and then gets all upset when most of the class doesn't do well in terms of grades. Like, I'm sorry, but and I know I'm not the only. I know I wasn't the only one. But when you flat out go out of your way to ignore a student who clearly knows this stuff and would probably be beneficiary to the class if he were to explain some of that stuff, because then we might be able to learn from him. You know, that's where I'm kind of like, no, you're not a good professor. F off. F off, jerk. Bias might be gunned here. Oh, no, he's not. So.
The third baseman, number 5,
Wow, didn't even get out of the first inning, and we were already knocking the pitcher out of the game. Wow. So, I you know, a lot of people use rate my professor. I think at times it's a good like preview what you can expect, but to say that it's completely accurate wouldn't be completely accurate. Because again, students have their own opinions. You know, one student may say this one professor was great, while the other one would say, no, this guy is a total douchebag or whatever. So ultimately, you could go in with an idea of who the professor is and what other people have thought of him, but at the end of the day, the only way you're going to know for sure is if you go to that class and you actually see for yourself. So, yeah, if you're in college, just well, first of all, enjoy it. You know, I think that's the one thing that I never really did in college. I did enjoy some parts, but for the most part, for me, it just felt like I was just working all the time. If it wasn't classes, it was the radio station, and if it wasn't the radio station, it was the school newspaper. And if it wasn't the school newspaper, it was this lacrosse website, or, you know, like, I felt like that I never really had an opportunity to be able to enjoy the other half of college, which is going out, socializing. You know, I did that early on my freshman year, and obviously I established great friendships and everything. But to say that I took full advantage of that and really got that experience, no. So that's kind of what my one of my regrets going to college is that I never really experienced. Now, don't get me wrong, I I wasn't exactly looking to join a frat or anything. Unfortunately, in my first semester, there were 3 ultimate signs that said to me that probably joining a frat was not meant for me. First thing, I tried to join a frat house, or I tried to go to a frat party before the semester even begun. And then I get halfway there, and all of a sudden I see people walking back, and I ask what's going on, and they're saying, oh, well, the cops are there. I was like, okay, cops are there. No need to get involved with that. The second part was my friend, my sweet mate, actually. He had to go get his stomach pumped because he drank some spiked fruit punch or whatever that they call it, jungle juice. That was clearly spiked. So I saw that happen. I saw him suffering because I was working that night. I was working as a resident safety representative, which is basically those people that sit in that booth and sign you in. And I saw that happen, and I was like, oh, okay, if that can happen to my friend, that can clearly happen to me. So, and then finally, ultimately, there was I did end up going to a frat party. This is when I think I was a sophomore or whatever. Make some spaghetti. Delicious. I tell you what, man. Kudos. I give a lot of credit to my dad because he made sausage and peppers, but he knows that I'm trying to. The House of Pride Esports frat party. No, dude, this is not a frat. Actually, the frat house is unfortunately gonna close at some point. Actually, it will probably be in the next couple of weeks, actually. So, Hopster Pride Esports will be no more. But, ultimately, anyway, I went to that frat party, and I was there, and, you know, I didn't really have any drinks or anything. I just had a cup in my hand, and then all of a sudden the cops showed up, and I was like, okay, throw that cup away, get rid of any evidence, and just casually walk out and never attend something like that ever again in my life. Sounds like we need to have a farewell frat rager for the house's one last hoorah. Well, I'm giving you a week and a half. That's what you got. Starting now. So whatever hoorah you got, let's give it. Let's get it. Because we only have a week and a half left of it.
Count is 1 and 2.
Strike 3, sit down.
Batting 7. The shortstop, Wonder.
That's easy. I'll just post the story on Craigslist like the movie Project X and have everyone there. You know what's funny is that I actually know what you're talking about when you say Project X. Because in high school, my class, a group of students that I was working with on a media project, a movie, they ended up wanting to do a sequel to Project X. So they called it Project X Square. And we threw, there was a huge dance thing in the classroom one day. I don't know how my teacher didn't end up getting in trouble for that. I really don't. Because that thing was loud. I could hear it halfway down the hallway. Because he goes, how are there... I may or may not have posted the invite on Craigslist. Kanye West showed up. boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh God, good times. Good times. Oh yeah, from what I've heard, yeah. I mean, I've never seen it myself, but from apparently it's a good enough movie that my classmates decided they wanted to make a sequel of it. Needless to say, I was not part of it. Wow. I don't know how... Oh, Manny! What's up, Manny? How you doing? Dude, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it, man. God, long time no talk. How you doing? Hey, we're trying to do some less hoorah for the Hofstra Pride Esports. Someone drove the kid's Mercedes into the pool. I was crying. I haven't been here in a while. Started playing GTA. Nice, man. Which GTA? Because I know they remastered the trilogy. Was it the is it GTA 5 or is it the trilogy?
Doolittle.
All ones the count.
But anyway, like I was saying, we're trying to do some kind of last hoorah for Hofstra Pride before they end up retiring at the GTA 5, but it's modded. It's called 5M. Okay, so if it's modded, what are you? What are you? Like, what are you doing specifically? Like, if you don't. Obviously, you're doing something different from GTA. And I've seen a lot of the GTA mods that have, like, Shrek or Harry Potter or whatever in them. Roleplay, right. But what kind of a roleplay? Does it have, like, famous characters? Is it based off movies? Are you using the GTA characters? Come on, get over that wall. Chip it. Let's go, Mauricio.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
And that knocked frickin' Doolittle out of here. And Nemo says he's gonna come right back and follow it up with another. There's a whole bunch of different servers. Okay. Okay.
The first baseman, number 17.
But like, what's unique to yours? Like, what are you focusing on? And are you focusing on any movie? Like, what are you doing in your modded GTA? That's what I'm trying to ask. I'm sorry if that's not being clear. I just have trouble sometimes wording my questions. Attaboy Carter. He's gonna get in on the home run action. Because why the hell not? We're trying to upgrade these guys before, or try to get them the P5. I'm just playing just to have fun and you join a gang. Okay. See, man, I gave up on GTA 5. You play a server where it is a New York map. Oh, a New York map. So you got Midtown, you got the Bronx, you have Manhattan, all that stuff. You got the Statue of Liberty and Central Park and everything that's part of it. All of them. Cool. Nice, man. Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't even, like, I liked the story for GTA 5, and, you know, the bank heists were cool and all, or not the bank heist, but the heists in general were cool, but, you know, once people started being assholes on GTA Online, it was just kind of like, okay, I really don't want to be involved with this. You know, this is really not fun. Plus, I kind of lost my gaming partner, my friend Damien. He doesn't have a console anymore. I mean, he's got more responsibilities to take care of at this point, so you know, I'm not criticizing him. I understand that he's got other responsibilities, you know, just like I have other responsibilities. I gotta work and everything. In fact, this week is gonna be rough because I'm basically waking up every single day at 4:30 in the morning, the latest, just to get an Uber ride into the city by 6. Oh, you gifted a sub! Aw, thanks, Manny. I appreciate that. And it looks like it went to Legendarian. Attaboy. Darian, you got a free sub. Thank you to Manny for that. Appreciate that. That's how we get some hoorah. We already had 60 bits donated by Yo It's Peach in this stream, and now we're getting a sub as well. That's awesome. Thanks, Manny.
Leading off for the Lions, the shortstop, Ronnie.
Let's see if I could get a home run here. Oh, nope, not a home run, but I can get you a double. Will double work for you?
The center fielder, number 9, Brandon.
Sorry, got a little bit of a chill up my spine. Oh, Nimmo. Perfect. I think that's gone. Attaboy, Nimmo. Can't forget that Nimmo's also gotta be upgraded as well. So we gotta do everything that we can with him because he's the furthest of all the position players. He's the one that's furthest behind right now. Well, position players that are currently in the lineup. You know, obviously I have Lindor on the bench as well as Khalil Lee. You know.
Now batting, left fielder, Cliff.
Ah, damn! Once again, I forgot my little shout out. Dang. I got Darian. I didn't shout out. Let's see. Who else didn't I shout out? Bray. I didn't shout out Bray. Should've. Dang. Wow.
The left fielder, Jesse.
Oh well, is what it is. If they come back in here, I'll definitely shout them out. Anyway, sorry, not trying to talk about my work here. Let's see. I don't know. We talked about the MLB lockout. You know, we talked about MLB The Show 22. That's coming out on April 5th.
No balls, 2 strikes.
The batter, number 5.
I just...
Shortstop.
Excuse me. I don't mean to sound so tired. I just...
I got the count. Oh,
You know, again, that's honestly, that's my fault because I only got a couple hours of sleep. And honestly, I don't even consider it good sleep that I got because I just kept getting nightmares. So, was it, you know, really thinking about it, was I really sleeping or was I just being terrorized by my own subconscious? Let's see. You know, don't get me wrong, guys. I am definitely going to play MLB The Show. Even though I'm not going to stream it, I'm still going to play it. I just don't think I'm going to be able to show you guys my progress. Because I just won't have time. You know, going to the gym 3 times a week and then working in the afternoons, I just don't think I'll have time. But, you know, we really did, I really did, this team has come a long way since I first started streaming MLB The Show 21. Really a long way. I mean, day one I was pulling Aaron Nola as my diamond. That was the one diamond that I pulled on day one of release. Still have yet to pull Mike Trout. Have not pulled Mike Trout, but I did pull Jacob deGrom. I pulled Ronald Acuna Jr. multiple times. And not only that, but I was able to afford quite a few players in this year. You know, last year, excuse me, I'm sorry. Last year, I was able to only afford Gary Carter and then Mike Piazza. You know, those were the Mets players that I could afford. This year, I was able to grind my way towards getting Matt Harvey. I had to buy Noah Syndergaard, but I really did my best to grind that event and get him. And then, what else? Billy Wagner. I'm sure if I had put more of an effort toward, I could have gotten him via the 30 wins and everything, but after getting frustrated with ranked seasons, I was just like, there's no way. So, you know, but I don't mind buying Billy Wagner, and you really think about it, you consider all those players that I just explained that I bought or grinded for, you know, I probably spent well over 2 million stubs for this game over the course of a year, and I still have 1 million. They're just sitting in my account right now. Excuse me. At this point, there's no player that I want, really. So, actually, maybe that's what I'll do. So maybe the last stream that I can do, maybe we'll do a pack opening. Maybe we'll spend a 500,000 stubs pack opening.
Right fielder, number 8, Eddie Rosario.
2.
Strike 3, sit down. So, I mean, ultimately, I want to go off with a bang.
Hernandez.
And no, I'm not doing ranked seasons, so nobody give me that idea. We're probably just going to do a pack opening and just spend the stubs. And then whatever stubs I have left over, that will be the stubs that I spend prior to MLB The Show 22 coming out. Who hit that? I don't even. Who hit that? Maybe that was Mauricio? No. Floyd. I think that was Floyd that hit that. Yeah, this lineup is a very left-handed, heavy lineup. A lot of lefty hitters like Floyd, like Conforto, like Nimmo.
Now batting, the second baseman, Javier. The third baseman, Reds.
I'm sorry, guys. Again, I really don't mean to be yawning, and actually, Batty is another example of this. Another left-handed hitter. Yes, I'm playing at on rookie, and yes, I'm playing at Ship at Stadium. So home runs are going to be galore. It's going to be home runs galore here, but. You know, ultimately, I need those home runs because they're how I upgrade my players. Home run, I think, is like 40 XP on just rookie.
Now that's the center fielder, Brandon.
Sorry, guys. I really gotta stop yawning. And, you know, I would play at Ship It more if, you know, based on my logic for wanting to hit more home runs. Obviously, I want to play at Ship It more, but, you know, by that same token, if I could do it, so could the AI. And that doesn't bode well for Matt Harvey. Because a shutout would be very, very nice to have. Excuse me. Let's see, what's going on Twitter? Oh. Yeah. Nice. So whoever hit that, I'm assuming that's Floyd again. Yeah, that's Floyd. Good job, Floyd. A double and 2 RBIs. I'll take it. Any kind of beatdown we can settle on and get lots of RBIs and plate appearances and home runs and everything only just adds to the XP.
Leading off for the ball, the third baseman, Edward.
I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything here. Nothing here on Twitter about
The center fielder, number 11, Kevin.
oh. Yeah, I'm seeing a bit here on the LA, or at the LA Clash at the Coliseum.
Now batting, left fielder.
I mean, you guys know what a big NASCAR guy I am. In fact, I'm wearing a NASCAR shirt right now, or a Coke Zero Sugar 400 shirt right now. You know, I went to 4 races last year, so NASCAR is kind of like a big thing for me. And, you know, I see Bernard Pollard Jr. here commenting on it, and like the Clash, I can appreciate NASCAR trying to do something different. It was definitely not what I expected it to be. I was expecting it to be a complete wreckfest, and maybe we got that in the second last chance qualifying race, but you know, other than that, it was completely tamed. Leaders stayed out front. There was some beating and some banging, some tempers flaring. That's what you can expect from short track racing. So I can appreciate them trying to do something different by reaching to one of the top sports markets in Los Angeles. You know, I'm wanting to appeal to that. Wanting to appeal to the demographic there. I totally get that. You know, and I like the effort. I like NASCAR trying. But at the same time, the show that they put on was a snooze fest. I mean, aside from that last chance qualifying race that I mentioned, and Pitbull performing a concert, and apparently Ice Cube too, which he's still relevant. I still remember Ice Cube when he was in the Are We There Yet movies. But like other than that, it was nothing really. You honestly could have just not tuned in for a couple hours, missed the qualifying races, and then just came back and tuned in for the main show itself, and not miss the beat. So, and that's not what you want to do. You want to have people that basically say, wow, this is exciting. I want to be able to watch this from start to finish. That's the problem that NASCAR has. NASCAR cannot get people to watch an entire race for 3 hours. First of all, 3 hours is a lot, which is why you guys don't see me. You guys see me get close to 3 hours, but I've hardly ever done. I've hardly done it in recent memory. Doing 3 hours, asking someone to tune in for a race 3 hours where there's not a lot of action, that just makes it harder. And that's what NASCAR's problem is. They need more action on the track to make it worth watching. And from what I saw in that race, I'm not too sure we're going to see a lot of action, which is a shame. I want to see passes. You know, the best racing I ever saw was 2011 when they allowed the 2-car tandem to happen. My God, close finishes. There were guys that were up front that you wouldn't have expected to be up front. And actually racing, I'm not talking like they managed to get to the lead, because green flag pit stops are going on. No, these guys actually raced their way up to the front. It was incredible to watch. I'm not saying they have to be wreckfests, but you need. I want to see more passing. I want to be able to know that if I tune in at lap 1, I may not see the same leader at lap 199. Which, I mean, is possible because they could have a bad pit stop, or they could, you know, wreck themselves or be wrecked by, be wrecked by someone. But ultimately, like, I just want to see a change in leaders. I want to see more passing. You know, I want to see more guys being aggressive. And yeah, I saw glimpses of it in the clash at the Coliseum yesterday. But did I see a lot of it? Not really, because the leader would have been already gone by the time they filed out to single file. It's a shame, it really is, because I'm going down to Daytona for the 500, and I do not want to be sitting there watching cars go single file all the way across the track for 200 laps. And then not make any moves. I get this is a new car and you don't want to do anything if you don't really have a lot of experience with it, but my God, put on a show. Take chances, please. Give me a reason to want to pay attention, because I could probably just fall asleep during the race and wake up at lap 150 and feel like I missed nothing. That's what NASCAR's problem is. Oh, look at that. Conforto up to tier 4. Nice. Attaboy, Conforto. Let's see. Do we have anything? I don't think I got anything. Yeah, I'm still trying to work towards the bundle pack here. I'm really not looking forward to this pack, I can tell you guys. Wander Franco, I absolutely suck with. And then Christy Mathewson, I hate his windup. So I'm definitely not looking forward to that. This, I went with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I like that Joe Morgan is a power hitter on top of a speed guy, but I think the move is Nolan Ryan. I don't know. I suck with Nolan Ryan. I really do. I went with Pedro here. I actually did well last year with George Brett here, but maybe Matt Kemp is the move. I don't know. Anyway, we're a long ways off from that, so let's just try to do another game here. Alright, we're going to try some new. Nope. Alright, one more time. Hey, there we go. Yes, I like to beat up on these teams that would basically be fed to a frickin' shredder. But not my problem. They should have gotten their team better, or shouldn't have started this late in the year. Because what exactly were you expecting? So we'll see what happens with the 500. I hope it's going to be a good race. But we'll see what happens. I might be done here. No, I am not. Triple for Keith Hernandez. How about that? How about them apples?
That is fifth. The left fielder, number 30, Cliff Moore.
Yep, go, 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 go. Nice.
That is it.
Floyd did that? Very nice. Gets up to tier 4, and yet first at bat grounds out. Thanks, Conforto. You're back on MLB The Show 21. Hey, man. There's something about this game, you just can't stay away. You cannot play it for a couple days, but eventually it comes calling back to you. Tells you you gotta you gotta play this game. Because if you don't, you're gonna miss something.
Batting second. The right.
That's definitely how I felt with MLB The Show 18. You know, being away. There were times where for a couple months I didn't play this, and then I would come back to it, and you just play GTA for 4 hours? Dang, dude. I can't do that. I can't play a single... I mean, I could play, like, a game for MLB for a while. Like, you guys have seen me play it for 3 hours. But 3 hours is the max for me. And honestly, that's because I'm streaming it. Otherwise, I would probably not play too much of this game if I was not streaming it. So yeah, I would be missing out on some content. But I tell you what, I don't think I can ever play a game for more than an hour or two. Unless it's like a really, really interesting game. Like those, like, you know, a game like God of War. Oh my God, I would play that game for hours. That is definitely one of my favorite all-time games. That I've had the chance to play, and I'm glad that I got a chance to play it. It's free in the PlayStation Store, by the way, guys. Although you're gonna be on that thing 24/7. Yeah, I'll probably be the same way, but I'm not gonna stream it because I'm not gonna have any time to be able to stream it. So, you know. So I'm still gonna play it, but I'm not gonna stream it. I'm hoping that day one I manage to pull Mike Trout, because that would be killer. Because so far this year I have yet to pull Trout. I don't know if I would buy packs, though, because, like, this year, I barely bought any packs. At the beginning, maybe I did, but those packs, like, definitely not the show packs. I stayed away from the show packs this year. I was not buying any show packs this year. And honestly, I'll do the same thing next year as well, or next game title. I will not buy a single show pack knowing that I could easily earn it by playing the game or doing the conquest map or whatever. I just want to know what new legends are we going to get this year. And I pray to God we don't get that legend like Kirby Puckett, where we only got one version of that card. Yeah, yes it does.
That's it. The shortstop, JT.
Yes it does. Are you going digital or are you going hard disk?
I got to count 0 and 2.
Because you can really get a lot of, if you stream MLB The Show, you can really get a lot of viewers from it.
The center fielder, John
Oh, shit.
Peterson.
Yeah, that's a perfect, no doubt. Peterson just smacked the living out of that ball. Squared it up, too.
The catcher,
I don't know. I might buy it sometime in March, but don't know what to get. I always recommend the MVP edition because at least you get some packs to help you out early on. And to me, it's worth it. I bought in the MVP edition for, I think for MLB The Show 19. And then I definitely did it for 20 because I actually have it right here. This is the MVP. This is the MVP edition one. And I also have the MVP edition for this. Or no, wait. Do I have the regular version? Maybe I have the regular version. Yeah, that's the MVP edition. Because the regular version is $70. The MVP edition is usually about $10 to $15 more. So, but if you get the deluxe edition, that's going to cost you $100. And at that point, I think you're nuts. I mean, some people want that because they want to try and get content early on, and I get that. But for me, this game is not worth $100. Woo! Attaboy, Baez. Excuse me. Not bias, but Baez. He may have Jock Peterson, but MVP and the other one both come out 4 days early. Yep, they do. All the more reason to go ahead and get it. The MVP edition, though, not the deluxe edition. Unless you really want to break the bank for it, but that's totally up to you. I recommend not doing that. Rather, just get the MVP edition, and you can still get quality content. You're gonna play it all weekend? Yep. I wouldn't expect anything else, quite honestly.
The batter, number 2, shortstop, Mauricio.
So, I do love the cover art for the MVP edition. It's so beautiful. Like, well done, SDS. Whoever designed that, like, kudos to them. Get them an artist job. Because they did a freaking fantastic job with that. I'm not easily impressed with cover art and everything. But let me tell you something, that MVP edition cover art is beautiful. Well, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just playing extra innings. I'm just going up against teams that are, like, weak. I'm kind of being a bully, but whatever. These wins don't count anyway. Just whatever can get my team the most parallel XP. You know, these guys have to get up to P5 somehow. And I'm hopeful I can do it before next week. But we'll see what happens. It was with Lindor? Which Lindor? The Live Series Lindor or the Signature Series one when he was with the Indians? 99 P4 Lindor? Okay, so that's Signature Series Lindor. Well, keep hitting the freaking nukes with him. You got him up to P4, what's stopping you from getting him P5? P5, he'll be even more dangerous. Just because his overall doesn't go any higher than 99 doesn't mean that he can't. His attributes can't get any better. You're gaining a lot of parallel XP for Trout. Yeah, that's going to be a dangerous card. I wish I would pay more attention to Trout, especially since I worked really hard to get that Trout by collecting all the cards and everything. Or I'm sorry, Trout was not a no, I'm sorry, Trout was not a collection reward. What am I saying? Duh. Trout was the ranked seasons reward that I ended up buying. That's another one. I'm actually kind of surprised about that. I forgot about, you know, Billy Wagner, Justin Verlander. Actually, I probably spent over 3 million stubs on this in this game. 3 million stubs. You're currently at 7 wins in the... Oh, well, are you... is there a card that you're going after, or are you just wanting to prove you're a good ranked seasons player? Or maybe you're trying to do the parallel XP, which is why you're telling me that you're doing a lot with Trout. Oh, you always grind ranked. Okay. I mean, personally, ranked is not for me. I mean, I've tried it. Last year was probably the best that I was at it. But this year, no. Last season, you only got like 10 wins. Hey, that's 10 more wins than you had previously.
The Lions, the left fielder, Cliff.
So, but I can tell that you're wanting to improve on it. So, what's your goal for this season? 15 wins? You have Trout in the 2-hole? Nice. Oh, he robbed me of an extra base hit. Dang. See, it was so funny because last year when I was trying to grind Trout for Prestige, I didn't even have him batting leadoff for me or anything. I had him actually in the 7 and 8 hole because he wasn't hitting well for me at all. Him and Mantle were both terrible for me, and I was going based off of batting average and OPS, and I determined that because they had the lowest, I was going to go ahead and put them at the bottom of the lineup. And they still didn't do jack for me. Tatis, Tatis, I definitely got prestige. Trout, he was just too hard. It was Tatis, Paxton, I got prestige. Jose Ramirez got prestige. I'm trying to think who else. Maybe that was it. Maybe just Paxton, Tatis, and Ramirez. Me being over here batting 230 with 99 Tatis and 21. Yeah, I definitely feel like that this year it's a lot different than it was last year. Last year I was smacking with George Brett. George Brett was one of my favorite players from last year.
Leading off for the Saints, the shortstop.
I don't even know who's my best hitter online this year. I don't. If I had to guess, it's probably P5 Dom Smith. Probably, but I don't know. Or maybe it's P5 Trey Turner. Because Trey Turner really hit well for me. It's an adjustment, that's for sure. It is an adjustment.
The catcher, number 14, Chadwick.
And I know because I play MLB The Show 18 from time to time, like when I'm bored and I want something to do. So I'll go back there and I'll absolutely hit homers on Hall of Fame like I'm playing on rookie or pro or veteran. I definitely didn't like 18, but looking back, I would have loved it if I had put forth more of the effort. Because that year, I definitely didn't put a lot of effort. You know, I got Immortal Trout, and I got Immortal Yogi Berra, but that's about the only Immortals that I have. Oh, no. Wait, I also have Immortal Dennis Eckersley, and yeah, 19 was definitely my favorite. 19 was my favorite. 20, I just didn't like the fact that there was a lack of content early on. But, I mean, that's not their fault. There just wasn't any baseball. So they really had to... 17 you liked, 16 you loved. 16 was the first MLB The Show game that I fully played. Because 15, I kind of got into that late. Well, not late, but like a little bit longer because I was still on Xbox when the show came out. I was still on Xbox 360, and then I switched over to PS4. Your first MLB The Show game was MLB 13. Dude, you're not as old as I am. My first MLB The Show game was MLB 07 The Show. That one had David Reyes on it. In fact, I still have the game here. Is it here? Where is it? Uh-oh. May not be here. Hold on, guys. Let me see if it's over here in the... Maybe it's got to be in this box over here. Let's see. It's got to be here. It's not here? Where the hell is it? Maybe it is over here on the... Oh yeah, there it is. Yep, here it is. MLB 07, the show. Still have it. Yeah, well, then I'm old. Because that was the first show game that I ever played.
Leading off for Minnesota, the second baseman, Reyes.
But I have... It's actually funny because I have all the MLB The Show games from 06 to 10. I don't have... I also have MLB 11 The Show for PlayStation 3. I don't have 12. I do have 13. It's actually up here. 14 I don't have. You really loved MLB The Show, what? 16? Again, that was the first one that I really got, that I really had the chance to play on PlayStation 4. Oh, you just loved MLB. Yeah, they're great games. They're great games. I just like sports titles in general. Like Madden, I enjoy playing that. MLB The Show, I enjoy. 2K, NBA 2K, but I prefer the older versions. The 2K14 and 2K17 were some of my favorites. Definitely not these newer ones. I have no interest in these newer ones, and I gotta stop buying the new 2K because I really don't care. FIFA, I was only interested when they were doing the Alex Hunter story. NHL, I'll play from time to time. On this day back in 1994, Michael Jordan signed a minor league deal with the White Sox. Yeah. Huh. Didn't know he did that on this day. Glad he went back to basketball, though. Not that he couldn't make it in the MLB, but you know, basketball without Jordan is like football without Tom Brady. It's like, what is football? What is basketball without Jordan? Ooh, Conforto. Nice.
Now that second baseman, Javier Reyes. Now that third baseman, Reyes.
Oh no, double play, no! Batty, what the heck, man? I definitely long for the day that they put David Wright back into this game. You know, it's just like, to me as a Mets fan, that's the one legend that we're missing. I mean, we're missing quite a few legends, but to me, freaking David Wright is the one that's missing the most.
Leading off for the Saints, the right fielder, Hunter Dozier.
And I understand it's you know, there's player negotiations and all that crap, So I get that David Wright wasn't allowed to, or they weren't allowed to use Wright's likeness for a while, but I hope eventually we do get him back, because I think he would be a lot of fun to play with in MLB The Show. Just doesn't even seem that long ago that he retired. I guess part of me was hoping he would be that ageless wonder, but another part of me knew that Wright was eventually gonna have to call it a career. I just wish the Mets had gotten him a World Series, because if anything, he deserved it. For him to have the patience that he had to stick around with the Mets through arguably the worst time in franchise history is pretty remarkable. And at the very least, he deserved the World Series. 2006 was the best opportunity, though. 2015, yeah, they were close, but it only felt like they were close because of Cespedes. So really, it wasn't the New York Mets. It was just Yoenis Cespedes.
Your attention, please.
And then Daniel Murphy. Because Murphy decides he's going to be a postseason MVP. Woo! Attaboy, Mauricio! Just had a couple of hits, and you get another one right there.
The center fielder, number 9, Brandon Nimmo.
So, right, I hope to see him in the game once again. I think we're going to see Jose Reyes at some point, because they featured him in MLB The Show 19. He had a signature series card, so why can't he be in the game? And yes, I would definitely put him as a New York Met. I think his time in Miami was wasted. Toronto wasn't much better. Colorado, I didn't even... You hardly ever remember that part. He was a New York Met. Jose Reyes is a New York Met. And he may not go into the Hall of Fame, but by God, was he a critical point of that 2016. I don't think we're going to see Carlos Beltran anytime soon, especially with the whole sign stealing scandal. And it's actually a very interesting debate that I saw on Twitter, because Carlos Beltran is going to be up for the Hall of Fame at some point. And the debate was, if he were to go into the Hall of Fame, would he go in as a Kansas City Royal? Or would he go in as a New York Met? I mean, we can't forget about his stints with the Astros. After all, he won a... You can say whatever you want about the sign stealing scandal in 2017. Obviously, the Astros deserve to be reprimanded for that, but he still won a World Series. And it's... I don't know. I guess he's that kind of player where he was just a special player. He really was. Strike 3, sit down. Basically 5-tool before Mike Trout made it cool. He could field, he could run, he could catch, well, that's part of fielding, but he could really throw a dot. And then he could hit. He could basically do it all. And he was that do-it-all guy.
The second baseman, Javier Reyes.
Attaboy Baez. Oh, excuse me. So, I don't know. Could he go in as a Met? Could he go in as a Royal? I mean, first of all, he has to go in. And some media journalists might say he doesn't deserve to go in because he helped the Astros cheat. But should that one incident basically define his career as a player? He was still a solid player. Come on, Mauricio. Let's see what they rule that. They say it's a double. Good.
Your attention, please. Now Miguel Romero.
Beat it out, Nemo. Beat it. So, it's a very interesting debate that I guess we're going to have to see what happens when he comes up for the Hall of Fame. All right, Harvey, let's close this one out and let's finish off this game.
Leading off for the Saints, the first baseman, Reyes Mountcastle.
Oh, that's out.
Back. Yeah, it's going good. It's actually just about to wrap up here. This is the last half inning, so once this is over, I'll probably wrap it up here. Hopefully we'll get a few more players to parallel 4. Because right now, Mauricio is not close enough to P5, and neither is Harvey. Hold on. Hey, Manny coming in with 100 bits. Ah, jeez. Oh, another 200 bits. Holy crap. Peach, I'm sorry. I think I jinxed you. Because Manny comes in here and he's donated 300 bits. Manny, thank you so much. Hold on, let me give you a shout out here. Hold on, I hope I spelled this right. CZZ FRM 5M. Okay, I hope that works. Alright, man. Thank you so much for the 300 bits. I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry, Peach, you just got topped. Oh, and he tiered 500 bits. Oh my god, Peach, how are you going to top this? Absolutely, that's hype. Hold on, use my emotes. My emotes are available. Here, I've got them right here. Oh. There we go. It's locked? I'm sorry, man. Dang, that stinks. But hype in the chat for Manny! How about we open up some ball in his habit packs for you? Maybe we could pull a diamond. Nope, nothing there. Come on, diamonds. Diamonds for the bits. Peach with the 1 bit. Hey, it may not be 100, but I'll take it. Thank you, Peach. Thank you so much. Oh, god dang it. Where are them diamonds? You know what I might do? If I don't get a diamond in this pack, I'll buy some headliners and I'll keep buying them until I pull a diamond. So, let's go ahead and buy some headliners. Nope, nope, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Come on, give me some diamonds. Diamonds for the bits. Alright. I'll buy another 2-pack bundle. Not a big deal. Come on, I gotta pull a diamond for Manny here. He donated so many bits. The least I can do is get him a diamond. Oh, there we go. There's that diamond. Come on, let it be a high diamond. Ah, it's only an 88. I'm sorry, Manny. But hey, Eddie Rosario, that's not a bad diamond. I mean, his postseason diamond is much better. But hey, got a diamond. So, alright guys, that's really going to do it for me here. So, thank you to everyone who tuned in, even if it was only for a moment. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't done so already, please be sure to follow me here on Twitch and or subscribe. Either one would make me a very happy person. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That way you know when I post my videos. I'm going to be trying to post them. This one will be later, either tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Really just depends on when I get home. And if you want to know when I go live, you can follow me on Twitter at JeffreyWarner3. The link is in the About page that's underneath the stream here, so go check that out. I'll also put it in the chat here so you can get on that link and you can follow me. That way, and you can turn on notifications there. That way, you'll know whenever I tweet. You can also turn on notifications here on Twitch. That way Twitch sends you an email every time I start up a stream. So overall, we made some good progress. We were able to get Michael Conforto up to a tier 4, which is pretty good. And I look forward to seeing what I can do here from the future. We had some pretty impressive performances from Cliff Floyd, Brett Batty, Ronnie Mauricio. Everyone was just swinging the bat tonight. And, of course, freaking Matt Harvey just pitching lights out as he always does. He's very close to 8,000, so he's climbing up there. You know, who knows? Maybe in a few games we can have him at P5. Now that would be something. So just tune in. So I'll be live again tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock Eastern. Gonna be doing the same thing. We're gonna keep doing this until the end, until next Tuesday, because that will likely be the last stream that I do. So I hope you guys will tune in tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. And until then, guys, have a great night.